Hey guys, this is Matt Core from Ctrl+Paint.com, and today we're going to talk about exaggeration. And where all the reference I'm going to be using is from the drawing script, which can be found at lovecastle.org. This is a great site for reference photos. So let's take a look at some of these drawings I made recently. These are all from reference, but you can tell they're not particularly realistic. They are very exaggerated. And in exaggerating them, I've made the shapes more interesting. And this is what cartoon characters have benefited from forever. Okay, so I'm hearing you say right now, well, I don't really do cartoon characters. I'm a realistic illustrator. Well, when you're practicing, taking a piece of reference and then interpreting it through exaggeration is a great way to learn about the subject matter. In fact, sometimes if you're going to prepare to make a realistic portrait, one of the best ways you can get to know that subject is to exaggerate and do some caricature. So here I'm going to do 3 different versions of this guy wearing a hard hat, and I'll show how you can use emphasis and exaggeration to come up with all kind of different results. So from a technique standpoint, I'm going to start with the blue pencil. And of course, this footage is way sped up. I do not draw this fast. But here, I'm just going crazy. I'm looking at what features on his face stand out to me. And so in this drawing, I'm really emphasizing the hat, the nose, and the ear. And I'm intentionally squishing other features. Because if you've watched any of the Principles of Design series, you know that the relative proportions, the size of one object to another in a scene, matter. Well, the same is true about a face. The relative size of his nose to his eyes, or to his nose to his chin, says a lot about this character. So I'm playing with those proportional relationships to have a stylized result. And most importantly, I'm having fun with this. This kind of exploratory sketching can really be an enjoyable process. Okay, for this next one, I'm going to downplay the hat. Instead, I'm going to focus on a gigantic nose and big jowls, because I love the wrinkles that this guy has, and under his eyes there's nice bags. I really want to accentuate that. So I'm going to enlarge and enhance them. And you can see that my blue drawing here is very rough. It's only in my next layer that I'm going to come back and really refine this. Here I'm just playing with shape. But as you look at the small details, you're still doing very close observational drawing. Because even if I'm making the nose bigger than it actually is and the hat smaller than it actually is, the small scale details, all the little angles, have to be very carefully observed. Because it still has to look somewhat like the reference you're using. The goal here is to capture some of his natural character, but to stylize and exaggerate it in the process. So a lot of what I'm doing here is still very critical observation. I'm not just making this up out of my head. And in doing this, you'll actually get better at doing realistic drawing. Something about the way it trains you to carefully look. Even though I'm interpreting it differently, I'm still observing in the same way I would for realism. All right, for this next one, I really want to play up on the giant hat and then diminish his chin to have sort of an upside down triangle look. And I'm going to give him big bags under the eyes and a big nose. But by this point, I'm really starting to get a sense for this character, because I've carefully looked at all of his facial features in 3 different versions now. And with each subsequent drawing I do, I get quicker and I have a better understanding of the reference I'm looking at. So if my next drawing were to be a carefully observed realistic portrait, these caricature drawings, the exaggeration, has somehow locked in the uniqueness of this character into my mind. I have a better understanding of the characteristic features that are going to help capture his likeness. So it's not simply an exercise in drawing cartoon characters. It's an exercise in careful observation. So I'd really encourage you to do exercises like these, no matter what your final goal is, because it really does change the way that you look at faces. You'll find yourself looking at faces everywhere you go from now on, looking at the specific line of a jaw or the way somebody's hair curls around their ear, because everybody's face has a unique characteristic. and exaggeration really helps bring that out. So even if you're not a caricature artist, it is fun to do this kind of work. And these final results should show that you can really go a lot of different directions with one piece of reference. In fact, this is my invitation to you to loosen up. Try some bizarre exaggeration. You never know what you'll get. Because each of these 3 characters has a very unique silhouette and has exaggerated character. And even if they're not a finished product for me, they might help inform my next character design. So go out and exaggerate something. Thanks for watching, guys.